CS here for a quick Reloaders coffee chat. Guy whose name is Charles Irby or Charles Irby, who uses several different names around the internet, usually involving Charlie. And I had an interesting conversation today, and I thought I would make a quick video about it. The basic idea of the video is this. Most of us show our setup in its perfect world, where everything is all neat and tidy, not as it actually is. I wanted to show how it actually is. So, here's my reloading bench. Notice it's also a workbench. I've got a stool there that ends up being a stuff holder, shotgun shells, pistol cleaning stuff, a horribly disappointing barrel slug test result that I think explains some issues I've been recently having. And that will probably be a future video as I troubleshoot that and I'm able to report back on why I find. You can see the last thing I actively reloaded was a bunch of shotgun stuff until I started running out of components. And I'm looking at maybe doing some more shotgun stuff. Obviously, anytime I actually start to reload, I slow things down and I clear off my area because I don't want to mix and match supplies. There's never more than one powder out at a time, and I always label my powder reservoir, what's in it, and I usually have a card, much like this one, that has a recipe. So there's only one of those out at a time, and I can't mix and match, and I tidy up before I actually load things, but in between loading sessions it gets cluttery. Now, this is a continuation of my older system. Each of my presses is mounted on a plate of 2x12 that has holes at the same spacing, and there are T-nuts put into this base here, which is quite solid. And basically what that means is I can quickly unbolt or rebolt any one of these presses and move them out to different places, or the vise, to whatever is convenient for me. I kind of have it set up at a mid-height between where I can comfortably operate it standing or sitting. I've tried sizing with the vise upside down, the single stage press upside down, and I don't like that. This single stage gets used for load development and for sizing when I have something that needs sizing. And I also have a bullet puller and things like that, but most everything happens on this guy. For a while I had a Lee turret press that belonged to a friend here where the mech 600 is sitting right now. And nowadays mech 600 means a very different press than this one. This is a manually indexed progressive, and if I could do it all over again I wouldn't buy the same one. It should be, I want something with a collet sizer, and that doesn't have it. And it doesn't bite you most of the time when you have a shotgun press that doesn't resize, but it bites you just often enough you wish you did. You know, I've got a shelf full of reloading supplies and some craftsy stuff here. It's real life. It's not perfect and cluttered. I have a garage. You have to be able to fit stuff like motorcycles in your garage, and then you have to be able to get them out of your way. You have to have your table saw and the projects you're working on, and your tools. And all that means most of us don't have a perfect tidy setup, but I'm sure grateful to have the setup that I do have. Anyway, I'm curious to see what you guys would do and what you would improve. If you have great ideas that would make my setup better, short of go buy a new place with bigger space, I'm all ears, and hopefully some of the ideas that I have would be useful to you. I can say one thing that was a surprise to me. This is a common type of kitchen table, but the way they mount the legs on it is very strong. It has draw bolts that pull it sideways, and those turn in and become very tight. I had, not too long ago, several hundred pounds of lead here, but I've used up most of it. And this table is actually really solid. I wish I could say the same for my vise. I've got a layer of plywood and another 2x12 chunk of wood here. And if you're trying to, and then I have a coffee table sitting on top of it. Looks really crude, but I'll tell you what, it's more solid than a lot of people's permanent installations, and if I were to lag that into the wall, this would be more solid yet. It's a rental, so I'm not going to do anything permanent, But you can get these tables on Craigslist for under $100 almost any day of the week, and I honestly think they're a nicer starting point than a lot of the things I see people build out of 4x4s. Anyway, good shooting to you. Gun Fun ZS out. Have a nice day.